Now? Couldn't you have gone before we left?
It's all on the line here between Fnatic and Dignitas. We are going to a game number 5. We are tied up 2-2, and it's absolutely been an insane ride. Hopefully you guys at home have been enjoying it. I know we have.
Yeah, we definitely have. Great series thus far, and for Fnatic already a small victory to get 2 wins here. If Fnatic wins today's series, then only a loss on the last day against Team Synergy can bring Dignitas on the #1 spot still. If Dignitas decides this last map in their favor, there is still a chance for them to make the #1 spot, but Fnatic has it in their own hands then to at least force a tie by taking down Synergy with a 3-0. So, very explosive situation, super intense here on the last map. Dignitas had a lot of options, but in the end Fnatic is successful. And now it comes down, once again, in the big 3 to the final map.
It's crazy how these two always go to game number 5. Yeah. The first time these two matched up on February 12th, it was actually Fnatic who took the first 2, Dig took the other 2, and then Fnatic ended with the victory. At the Western Clash, opposite. Dignitas took the first 2, Fnatic took the second 2, and then Dignitas won at the Western Clash. And now we're in the same scenario here, and the third time these two match up in the HGC, and it comes down to the wire per usual. These guys are just so evenly matched that it always comes down to who is just playing a little bit better when it comes to showing up. Let's figure out which battleground we're going to here. For game number 5, it is going to be Cursed Hollow, and it's picked by Fnatic.
Cursed Hollow, Fnatic's choice here, and this is gonna be good. Once again, there's so much on the line right now. Dignitas, they want to prove they are the best in Europe. They are the champions. They are the ones who everybody has to fear. And Fnatic, on the other hand, for them, of course, it's about just crowning a spectacular season and also qualifying for an event in their home country. Not having to go through the playoffs, that's the goal for both of these teams.
Sweden, man, a couple more weeks away. Excited for that. Obviously, we still have to go through the Crucible, the playoffs and such, and those will be happening in the first coming weeks, but we have to get through this game number 5. And with it being Cursed Hollow, the only time it's been played between these two in the last couple of times was in the first week, the February 12th match. It was actually game number 2, and Fnatic did walk away with the victory. They were able to get their ball stat and be aggressive on their rotation. So we'll see if they can pull that off here, as Globals are definitely, again, the name of the game here for Cursed Hollow.
Yeah, definitely. We can see, once again, that the Haka split push. We can see Falstad, who's trying to control also the boss area, once again, with a good gust. Tyrael becomes a very strong hero. We have seen a lot of Abathur in the European scene on this map in particular, so something to watch out for, especially with the potential combo of a Greymane. And thanks to Greymane gaining so much more momentum and other frontline heroes as well, Abathur has made that new comeback into the scene. And because of that, Dignitas is already banning out one of these heroes. They're immediately saying Greymane, not happening, especially not with Quacknix, of course, trying to run that hero. Fnatic, this is the first time also here that we are seeing Dignitas banning out something else but Hasidah.
Yeah. It's going to be the Abathur ban right away.
Yep.
So Dignitas has a choice here to move into one of the globals. Or, of course, they can go for a risk, grab someone else, and then go into the double global. Because you got to remember, Gul'dan is still available, especially on this battleground, around the bosses, even the tributes. He is scary to pick up. Falstad will be the pick.
They go for the bird and Fnatic. Are we going to see a global to counter that out? Are they going to go for the Haka, or are we going to see once again maybe something as simple as an Arthur's and Nubarak, something that Fnatic loves to play, that really strong front line? It's the Haka, first of all, meeting the global of Dignitas, not willing to give a double global over to the opponent. At the second pick, what are we going to see? Malfurion is a great hero for them. They could go into the second tank here. So many options for Fnatic this early on in the draft.
And Malfurion goes up priority too with Falstad being on the opposing side. You always want to have that route available for when Falstad flies in. If he gets too close to you, you can make sure to lock him down. Very similar to how you would handle a stage dive if it came your way. But again, there's that Gul'dan floating around. You also have the possibility of moving to Lucio. Maybe you want to have to stay in around the fights around the tribute. And Lucio is great in those scenarios.
Of course, also one of the things to consider is that we are again on a map where there's very small corridors and areas to fight around. So AoEs gain a lot of power in these situations. And it's something where you could even argue that we might see an odd pick on the Kel'Thas, depending on the bans. If Gul'dan is not making his way into the draft on the side of Dignitas, that could happen. Mane has been showing the hero a few times on other maps, but he's always willing to throw that out. We have seen Chromies being played here. There's so many options for the two teams when it comes especially to those backlines. And Nubarak and Arthas, this time not on the side of Fnatic, but instead it is Dignitas.
It is, and it is a strong combo, that is for sure. So you have your Nubrak to go for the engage, the Arthas for the follow-up, the lockdown potential is super available, and it's very easy to pull this off on Cursed Hall in particular. As you mentioned, the small corridors are great, but that's also why a Nubrak is great. The escape routes are very small and minimal, so Nubrak can see easy burrow charges.
And Fnatic was waiting for a long time before they made the choice to go into the Malfurion. And we've been talking about how much of a priority it is for them, but we also have seen them go into Arthas and Nubrak early on. And especially a Nubrak is one of the heroes they really love to play. So then we come back to the question, how do you deal with this situation? Do you grab the Gul'dan for yourself? Do you try to rely on Tychus again to chunk Arthas down? How exactly is Fnatic going to run this? Additional CC would also be good for them, and it's something that is desperately needed on their end, in my opinion.
Yeah, disengage can always be good. Fnatic's going to go ahead and ban out the Chromie. The last time we saw Chromie on this map from Dignitas, they had a top 5 worthy play happen in that bottom left boss.
There's the Tychus ban. So Dignitas thinking along the same lines as we do right now. They expected Fnatic to counter the front line with the percentage damage of Tychus. So in this case, saying, nope, that's not going to happen. Fnatic, where's the damage from? What are they going to go for their front line here?
That's a good question, man. You move into mages, and Nubrak shuts you down, auto attackers can bring you down as well. Zul'jin is possible as one of those tank burners, as Tychus has been banned out, but Zul'jin lacks the mobility, so if a Nubrak gets to engage into Dignitas pulling off the call-off, they're going to kill that Zul'jin quickly, even before he gets to pop the Taz Dingo. Malfurion not the best hero for it, so it's really in a weird spot here for Fnatic to handle the pressure that Dignitas has already drafted.
Yeah, and by the way, if you guys are a little bit curious about also the Abathur ban now that Greymane is already out, we have seen Zul'jin combos with Abathur a couple of times already from these teams. It's one of the reasons why Abathur is banned out so often, because there's so many heroes right now that he gains extra value. Not even to talk about Muradin, which is, by the way, also an opportunity for Fnatic. Going into Muradin, having the additional Stormbolt, but they decide in favor of Varian again. So Varian for the immediate lockdown with a taunt after engage, having the parry available. And a Lunara, more on the squishy side. But still, if we have decent positioning and a Nubrak and Arthas don't get a hold of you, then you find yourself in a decent spot to just poke away. Especially, of course, if you're driving your fight with an early Varian or Dehaka engage.
Lunara being a bit scary of a pick here, but one that seemed almost mandatory to deal with these tanks in the front line, burn out that poison, slowly break them down, and eventually get to a point where you can go for the engage. But why it's so scary is in the past, Lunara was actually super meta for a while with Ariel. But false sets are getting picked up more often, and he would just fly in, drop a Mighty Guts on Lunara, and before she could even make a move, she would be killed off. So Lunara will have to be careful here. Luckily, tools are available. You have the Breeze here on Varian, which can go for the taunt, stop the false if it's nearby, and even the Malfurion move that we alluded to earlier. So Lunara, with the aid of her teammates, can handle the pressure of that false hit going in the back line. Lucio and Gul'dan will be our 4th and 5th pick.
Not really shocking to see Gul'dan being picked now. We saw Mena always jumping in the hero when he can. It's a very late in the rotation now. This time, last time they banned out Gul'dan, Chromie was picked. This time it's the other way around. They banned out the Chromie. They're saying we have a better time dealing with the Gul'dan. A Horrify is, of course, the one thing to watch out for. At Lucio on the side of Dignitas once again for Bakery.
Now it's the final pick here for Fnatic. Do you finish up with another damage here, or do you even think about considering picking up double support with double tank and grabbing the Ariel for Lunara?
It's actually a really good question, and I have to admit that at this point, going into the 5th map, I don't know what Fnatic is going to pull off here. They have also in the past played that Zagara that we've seen. Are they trying to maybe get a push hero in to push on the off lanes? Are they full focusing on the team fights? Normally with Varian, that's a likely choice that they are going for a bit more additional damage so that there's a follow-up. But they have shown very different approaches to these games, and the last pick is going to be, it's a Tracer! Shrimpy is going on to the Tracer now.
Tracer being pulled out, and you know what? If you need that dive and get them back line, burn down a Lucio, a Gul'dan, or even a false set before a sound barrier pops up, Tracer can get it done, and Shrimpy is probably one of the most confident Tracers in the league alongside Xayah.
Yeah, Tracer again for Shrimpy. Boss, tag me in. I got this.
And it's on game number 5 too, which is the most exciting part here. Tracer's going to have to play lights out to handle the pressure coming away, because if she gets hit by a couple of Fel Flames or even a false set dropping off the W on top of her, she gets burned down pretty quickly. Recalls have to be quick.
Yeah. Horrify. Gul'dan is a good Horrify. She is dead in the water, so that is something where Shrimpy needs to be absolutely on point.
And Malfurion being the healer here, I mean, she could have a difficult time getting out of his range. Now, of course, he has the Lune's Grace, so he's able to set up just enough a little bit. But Shwimpy, again, this is something that we've seen in the past. The last time that we saw him go off with it was, of course, BlizzCon 2016, which has always been one of our favorite memories in the past. And you always tell the story about Shwimpy walking in and saying, hey, give me Tracer and we'll get the victory. And they earned it.
It was pretty awesome that he had that influence and that there's this much trust on the team that Quacknick said, okay, I had a different idea, but if you believe in it, let's do it. That was absolutely amazing at BlizzCon. This is, of course, not the same importance, but there is still a lot riding on this last map. So Shrimpy will have to play his heart out here to make that work. Both of the teams are not going to give an inch for this. This is the last and final map in the best of 5, and this decides who goes, or could decide who goes to Sweden. So, yeah, they will bring their A game, for sure.
They'll have to play their heart out, but you guys are talking your heart out on the Twitter. We got one more to show you before we go into game number 5. Game 5, hype, exclamation mark, Fnatic on fire. Can Team Dignitas revive themselves? HGC at its finest. Thank you for the compliment, and we're happy that you're hype, man, because this is the match that we were looking forward to.
We're truly blessed when it comes to the top 3.
Yeah.
The fights have been absolutely on point. We've seen amazing games between Dignitas and Liquid, Fnatic and Liquid. Now we're having these two facing each other. Again, it goes to the 5th map, and one game is better than the next. Both sides show incredibly good strategies, and then also individual showings in those games, in those fights on the map. It's beautiful.
Let's get it started. Game 5, best of 5 series, all on the line between Fnatic and Dignitas. Who can take that #1 spot here in HGC Europe? We're going to Cursed Hollow to decide.
It is the final map of the best of 5 series. Once again, Dignitas and Fnatic at the gates. To the left is Dignitas with Bakery on Lucio, Snitch on Falstad, Zelia on Arthas, JPL on the Beetle, and Mena on Gul'dan.
To the right, in the red, it will be Fnatic, and here we go. Smexy on Malfurion. We're going to be having Breeze playing the Varian. Watch out for his aggressive plays. Quacknix on Lenora. Going to be jumping around the fight. Shwimpy on the Tracer. Land those kills with that Pulse Bomb, and Wubby on Dahaka.
Both are getting ready. They are set and ready to go. There's a lot riding for both of these teams on the result of this last map in the series. Is Fnatic basically qualifying for Sweden, or is Dignitas once again applying the pressure and forcing the decision back onto the last match day here at HGC? This is what Heroes of the Storm is all about. It's such an intense match to watch, and Fnatic and Dignitas, they are showing everything right now.
And they are killing buildings, that's for sure. Dignitas will get the first kill on the bottom as they take out that turret. Fnatic tries to answer back in the top right corner with the firepower of Tracer. They don't really have the full potential to kill off that turret as quickly. As we saw Dignitas burn down a second one now with Mene moving forward here and working in those Fel Flames.
Yeah, both of the teams going for a quick push against those lanes, against the walls, and now we have to the top lane. Fnatic doing the exact same thing, trying to catch up in the experience, leaving the tower a bit early, trying to meet the aggression in the mid lane, where Mene, Bakery, and Snitch are already meeting up to put more pressure onto the towers.
Tracer rotating in. Snitch is well aware of it. Remember, that Pulse Bomb can be available at the earliest of levels if you're able to get those attacks in, so Tracer can get those kills. So Snitch has to play incredibly careful. We're going to have the Watchtower even stolen here for Fnatic in the top left corner, which means it'll be a bit harder for Dignitas to work in those Giants that you normally see at 2 minutes.
Mena already with the poke down in the bot lane. 3 of them now aiming for the fountain, trying to take the sustain on the lane away from Fnatic before the first tribute spawns. And remember, 2 minutes into the game, we will see the mercenary camp spawn on the map. 3 minutes in, it's the bosses, but are we going to see these plays for the Siege Giants to get potentially an edge on the lane as tribute #1 spawns on the map?
Dignitas has grabbed everything they want in the bottom lane. They can now forward to pick Stitch and put him in the bottom lane while the other members of the team rotate to the middle. We'll see if they go for that play. For now, though, the Giants, with them spawning soon, we see Falstad and Lucio themselves rotating over to start it up.
Yeah, and it is game 5, so let's see which team gets the upper hand thanks to the spawn. It's incredibly important to watch out how the teams react once the tribute spawns on the map here, since there's a lot that you can do with this, and the spawn is at the bot lane, favoring for now Team Dignitas.
Game 5, reverse sweep. Could we have a reverse sweep similar to what we saw in Korea this morning with L5 going down 0-2 to MVP Black, and then they secure the victory? on the 5th and final map? That is the question, and we'll have an answer within the next 20 minutes.
Mina trying to go for the interrupters, barely get it, and that allows enough time for the rest of Dignitas to rotate into the top lane. The two globals still positioning themselves, but Shrimpy is able to get the tribute after all. Problem is that Quacknix is a bit out of position, just slowing the opponents down, but still safe, as Zelia was not willing to commit to it with JPL.
Quacknix barely in the way there. JPL even hitting that burrow charge, but with the aid of his teammates and the heals coming in from Malfurion, Fnatic's gonna be in a good spot as they grab their first tribute of the game. Bosses now spawn here at 3 minutes. Ooh, Bakery going in here on the right side, and Breeze setting up for some parries. Arthas are staying nearby, but with Schwimpy showing up on that Tracer and no pulse bomb being used quite yet, Dignitas will retreat.
Yeah, Shrimpy is currently turning into an exterminator, hunting down beetles that Anubarak randomly spawns here. So we have to the top already, Falstad and still Dehaka holding their positions. Both of them are basically locked in that one-on-one lane, whereas the rest of the team is rotating around, trying to meet tributes. And the next one is spawning again to the bottom of the map towards Fnatic's base.
Bottom right corner. This is a really good spot for Fnatic, especially with them set up. They have a Wisp heading to the top of the corner, so you can see when Fawcett goes in for the rotation if he does walk by that Wisp. And they also are in a spot where they have the great positioning to zone out their opponents. Breeze comes in and charges on Zelia. We're going to have a Corruption hitting Quacknix, but Smexy easily takes a tribute.
Very good zoning. Fnatic with really good zoning here, immediately engaging with Varian, dashing in and just buying some time for Smexy to go for the channel. So they create space for Malfurion, and that is 2 tributes to 0 in favor of Fnatic. Dignitas might have the lead in experience and the extra talent. Fnatic, of course, going to pick that up any moment now. But at this point, it's really just a question what happens as the 3rd tribute is appearing or about to appear on the map. Is Fnatic able to get the early curse against Dignitas, or will Dig be able to grab on for themselves?
At this rate, they should be able to fight before 10 hits. I mean, a good spot would be around level 8.5, 9 if that tribute does spawn. Dignitas slightly ahead in experience. They're about to hit level 8, but nothing too impressive here as the talents are even, and also Fnatic even has a bit of an advantage. Remember that Tracer with that pulse bomb available for a fight.
Yeah, we don't have anything too crazy in terms of the talents. It's again for Arthas, the Icebound Fortitude on level 7 for damage mitigation. Also, of course, the hybrid build for Falstad himself as he picks up Season Marksman on 1. Decides to go for the Boomerang, but disengagement, this could change a lot for the tribute. Down goes Lunara as Dignitas just dives in deep with a Nubarak and a Howling Blast follow-up. They still start to chase Malfurion, and it looks like Smexy is also going to fall. A double kill in favor of Dignitas, setting himself ahead with nearly a level, opening up for the tribute and even making the play for the boss.
2 major picks, they'll play for the boss and the tribute even being channeled. Tracer will sniff that out and delay it for now. They have not spotted the boss yet. The boss already going down to half health. Breeze does see it. Lunara has actually here. She's spawning on her way over. Snitch is low on health here. Snitch gets focused down. The pulse bomb goes off. We have Breeze also being taken down, and Dignitas is losing this fight.
Dignitas on the throw pit. Quacknix holds the aggro on the boss itself. Shrimpy moves in, a double kill against the blue team, and they want now also the curse. Whoopi walks in for the interrupt. The boss is about to be taken as Quacknix starts to push Dignitas back. What started as a double kill for Dignitas is now all of a sudden turning against them in full force. They're losing hero after hero, and they have lost the boss and will get cursed.
This could not have gone worse here for Dignitas. The tribute is being grabbed, and yes, you are correct. The curse is now here. A boss pushing in the top, Breeze in the middle, soaking experience with the aid of Quacknix and Malfurion. They'll be pushing in to get multiple forts and level 10.
Dignitas made a clutch call on Braxis, going for the boss, and it barely worked out this time. They have a similar situation in which they are saying, guys, we can grab this, just make it fast and quick. And all of a sudden, Fnatic shows up in full force, gets a double kill. They go in, they have the early level 10, they have the taunt, the boss is pushing through the top, the fort already lost, down to the bot lane. The Haka is pushing while we have the rest of the team in the mid lane, trying to eliminate another structure. Dignitas completely on the back foot. They lost the experience lead, and they are falling farther and farther behind.
And Fnatic still making moves here with the boss still at half health in the top lane. Falstad requires the attention to get rid of it while Wubby is pushing the bottom lane. Fnatic now has moved down to the bottom left, which makes Dignitas come over for a rotation to check to see if the boss is being taken, which allows for Fnatic to get aggressive and go in for a play. Breeze goes in, looking to grab a taunt, but Bakery and crew are not in a spot to get picked off, and now Fnatic has a call to make.
Fort in the mid lane is down. Curse in another 2 seconds is going to be subsiding, but they keep already taking more and more damage. A super early boss, of course, but still, that single hero defense with all of the minions weakened thanks to the Curse has done so much. It took so long to take the boss out. That's a half health keep that we're seeing here. Fnatic has only a 1-level lead, not even yet, it's just half a level, but just from a structural point of view, the advantage of Fnatic is incredible.
Just think about what they got off that Curse. They got 3 forts, they got to keep down to half health, they stole a boss, and they put themselves on a spot here where they're in a really good spot to control the battleground if they use their Dahaka effectively. They keep rotating in here on the bottom left to get eyes on this boss, and Dignitas sets up a trap, but Breeze with that parry survives.
Variant. It's always Variant. So hard to kill that hero. Once again, they're just dancing around the boss area. Dignitas was attempting to set up a trap. It worked well in previous games, but Fnatic is very well aware of the problems that could happen here. So they are playing this patient. We're seeing them waiting around the boss area, and to the top lane, they're still at constant pushing. Now, if Dahaka can move to the top and start to push out the lane even more, then at some point Dignitas would have to react with False Set at least. But so far, it's just a dance around this area through the bottom left, as Fnatic is hoping, of course, for an early level 13 and the lead it would give them.
Yep, Fnatic is commanding Dignitas to really defend this area, which keeps them all in one certain location. Dahaka will be able to get that experience in the top lane. Now, we're going to have Breeze taking some damage here as Dignitas is looking for a fight, but Fnatic is doing what they did with Zagara last Friday. They're just not giving an opportunity for a fight to break out. They're playing defensively. They understand the map control that they have on the field. Schwimpy will be a pain here as he continues to dance around on the left side, running to his Dahaka, but that should signify to Fnatic they can make an aggressive play here on the bottom for an Artis or even start the boss.
That just feels bad. JPL trying to dive over the debris, but hitting the button a little bit too soon and then ends up running into the wall instead. I doubt that he would have been able to take out either Dahaka or Tracer. Both of them were still a decent spot, but it just looked a little bit silly. There comes the Malfurion Silence. It's a trade in ults in the end, as Snitch is already using the Mighty Gust. Of course, Malfurion hoping to secure enough damage to drop Arthas. That didn't work. Here's the interrupt up at the top once again, as we see Dignitas starting to go for a contestation. But it's a lead in talents for Fnatic.
Lead in talents, and also they have Giants pushing in that bottom lane, which will require somebody from Dignitas to rotate in and help clear it out, and so Fnatic will take their time to grab this tribute. We're going to have some delaying tactics here from JPL when he drops in the Impale. With Arthas rotating in, he's looking for a big flank. Nice,
good timing for JPL as the charge comes in. Taunt is not activated, so no cooldowns burned. We have Fnatic picking up another tribute, and that's 4 in a row. It's 4 tributes in the row that they've now taken, and as you said, there is a camp at the bot lane pushing for Fnatic, so Dignitas will have to react. So right now there's a lot of momentum for Fnatic. Fnatic is really dictating the pace a bit after they could steal the boss and after they got the curse against Team Dignitas. But let's not forget that Dignitas is going to claim 13 in a few seconds. And from a structural point of view, they're far behind, no doubt about that. But they still have that power in the team fights to go for big team fight wins. Especially with a Horrify. We haven't really seen them use their entire combo with a Cocoon, with a Horrify. So that's what Dignitas is currently looking for.
Good point. Cocoon here has not been used in the kingdom even with that Mighty Gust. They have isolation techniques available to them. It's a matter of whether or not Fnatic oversteps here. With their great early game advantage they have with the killing of the forts, they haven't been in a spot where they've had to force a fight. Boss in the top right corner is being grabbed for Fnatic, while the tribute in the bottom left does spawn, so Dignitas will finally be able to grab their own tribute, but they have yet to identify that Fnatic has moved in for the boss. Finally, they start their own car on the left side here, but Fnatic with the Dahaka may have the chance to rotate in.
JPL, even with the Burrow charge, they need to do this fast. They know what Fnatic is doing, but they just don't know how far ahead they are already. And Fnatic does let the boss at the bottom slide. Now the problem here for Dignitas is a very simple one. Their own boss moves to the bot lane. On the bot lane, Fnatic still has their fort and their keep. Fnatic, on the other hand, have a boss pushing through the top lane, where the fort has been eliminated and the keep is on half health. Fnatic with this wants to take the keep, and that's it. Get the keep. Of course, if they team wipe, they will go for core, but that's unlikely to happen. But you get the keep here, and that is the big goal, and you can move back from that one.
And they'll start this goal here. They get it paired up with the minion wave. The boss charges in. They focus on the keep. It's low already. Faucet's coming in. Cocoon has been used. Dignitas decides now to defend.
There comes the immediate Horrify. Double leap on Lunara, but still falling. A kill against Arthas makes it a 1-for-1 trade. Arthas down, and so is Bambi. But we have the keep eliminated. The boss is still moving in, and Dignitas is turning to defend.
1-for-1 trade. Dignitas loses their keep, but Fnatic is also losing some pressure. In the middle, they had their fort being taken out by the mercenary camp, grabbed by Dignitas, and they also have damage on their keep wall in the bottom right corner. So while it was a call, it was one that allowed Dignitas to get some experience on the map, as well as get into a fight where they did get a 1-for-1 trade, which is great when you're behind.
Yeah, so Dignitas is probably not too unhappy with the situation right now. This could have gone worse for them. They at least traded the keep for pressure at the bot and in the mid lane, but of course it could also have gone better. Breeze with an attempt to interrupt, but the Lion's Mode does not hit. So in this case, we are seeing Dignitas pick up a second tribute. That could have gone worse for sure, because if that interrupt hits, then Fnatic is most likely going to get the tribute since they have the level 16 talent. I don't think that Dignitas would have been willing to fight away it.
And now with 16 about to hit for Dignitas, they are on a spot here to make an incredible comeback, such an incredible play. If they get the next tribute, they'll have Curse, they'll have their power spikes here with their Gul'dan, their fall set with the Giant Killer, Arthas here even with the level 13 talent to reduce the armor of their opponents when it connects. They're in a good spot to actually start forcing these fights, especially with the Cocoon. So Fnatic is going to play on the safe side. You see them grabbing wherever they can in mercenary camps to push out the fights. That way they can contest around tribute.
We've also been talking a lot about Lunara and her level 13 talent, and oftentimes Lunaras these days have to face against aggressive engages and need to go into greater spell shield. This time that's not the case. Quadnix goes for a very aggressive build here, with him also using the unfair advantage now, something that he can capitalize off roots and also of course the slows that come out of Varian himself. So a big tool for them. Here again, the snipe, and Nubarak is down. Twilight Dream has been used. Fnatic is just way more on point right now. They struggled getting into the series. They lost the first two maps, and Dignitas looked so crisp in these games. But now Fnatic is getting more and more momentum, and you can really see the confidence translating into very well-synced talents that we just saw. Going in, going for the silence. Lunara leaps around, bounces, everybody else bursts the damage on one target, and they turn it into an early 5 versus 4.
Dignitas will play immediately the most defensive they can here as they head to middle and bottom. A big push is heading towards their way, but without their Nubarak available on the field, they know they have to just defend and wait for the next opportunity to grab their next tribute. And it will be a tribute point for both of these teams. Curse coming out will be popped up if they grab the trip. So now Fnatic with their aggressive play, you mentioned it, they've been on point here in their shot calling to continue to keep it up here. With a scouting drone on the right side, Dignitas is aware of it, but they have no tools to go in for the engage yet, as Falstead's in the top lane.
And Fnatic wants to apply the pressure, not only here on the map, but they have, as you said, the Dehaka at the top lane, and that's where we're going to see him the entire time, trying to push back. Again, the taunt and the double leap, going for the strike on Lunara. Kill after kill, they isolate the targets, they rush in with Varian, and they secure another kill here. At this point, they're moving in once more through that bot lane. It is exactly what Fnatic needs here. Isolation kills. That is their big, big win ratio here. How they can dominate the map, get the objectives, give space to the Haka too. It's not working well for Dignitas.
Fnatic playing so lethal right now. That was underneath a keep wall that Arthas died in. Now, Cocoon has been popped. JPL is looking for an engage. Breeze is on the way to stop this fight from happening. Instantly, Dehaka's going to go ahead and burrow, and Breeze looking to turn around this fight. Waste Cocoon there.
Also, just as a side note, the damage points at this moment, 22,000 for Mena, 18,000 for Lunara, 17,000 for Shrimpy. We're not talking about long fights where each two teams just trade a lot of damage. We're talking about quick and decisive moves against single heroes where you decide the fight immediately and the opponent backs off. That's why those damage numbers are so low, because they're so focused on one target. The curse has been taken. Fnatic, they grab another tribute. They curse Dignitas once again. And this happens because we did not have 5 heroes on the map for Dig. Right now, Fnatic finds themselves in a great spot to threaten a second keep. And Dignitas apparently wants to fight.
Yep, Dignitas trying to get a fight up here on the top. They know they're on the talents. They are very even here. Fnatic knows they waste the time here. They can get keep damage in the middle and the bottom. Falstead will head over to start defending that pressure in the middle, but Team Dignitas is playing aggressive near the boss in the top right corner. In fact, a Nubarak burrow charges in. JPL is by himself. They don't have a Falstead here. Cocoon is being used. Falstead does fly in. Mighty Gust comes out. Can JPL survive? He needs to stay near Bakery. He is living, and Tracer is actually killed.
Tracer is down. Fnatic was so close to take a target down, but they could not accomplish that. They knew that Dignitas was trying to force a fight. They could have walked away from it, but they saw the burrow in from a Nubarak, and they said, okay, we take it now. And they are paying a price for it, but the lanes are pushing. Bottom keep nearly down. JPL is once again nearly falling. He dies actually, and now it could be a turnaround. This time Falstead doesn't have his flight. He does not have the cooldown.
Balsa does not have the fly, it can't show up, and the keep in the bottom left was actually killed by minions. Dignitas in a very poor spot right now. A Trace responding in 19 seconds, 19 and a half here for Fnatic. The core, as you mentioned, taking damage from catapults from the top. Snitch cannot leave this area.
Snitch is still defending. 2 keeps down, and now bosses are on the map, and that is the big moment. Both lanes are open, both of them. Bot lane, top lane. No matter which boss is taken at this point, Fnatic can go for core. They can go a double boss play and then push with the second one if they want. They can push with the first one. Right now, they are closing in on level 20. Fnatic has so many options at this point. 6 kills against 5. Dignitas, how do they react? They still don't have an Uberak. They cannot contest it. They can't make that move.
Dig hoping to defend here. They grab Giants on the left side to help out the boss on the top left. And at some point, you're just going to go for a call. And this is a call here to go down to the bottom right boss and actually defend against Fnatic when they go for it. Fnatic actually starting to group up in the top, and they're aiming just to push in with a 20 advantage.
Fnatic, they want to utilize the 20. If they go for the second boss, there's a chance that Dignitas picks up level 20 by the time. So Fnatic is hoping to attack with a boss, march through the lane, have the level 20 advantage, and force this fight now. They know the bot lane is also pressuring. Just look at the bot lane here. There's so many of those catapults coming in as up to the top lane. The boss is now marching in. Fnatic has all the advantages in their hand right now. They want to make this work. Let's see if Dignitas can muster up this defense. The Gust is already out. They're trying to burn the boss, and they're doing it as fast as they can.
Burning it down. It's down to half health. Here's Quagnix on the back left. He's looking at a Nubrek here. Nubrek dives in on top of Lennar to burn him down. Cocoon also being used. Everyone from Dignitas is working it out. Twilight Dream popping out at the same time. Quagnix jumps in one more time. A Nubrek falls.
Sound Barrier is already out. Main is trying to drop them somehow, but the boss is still on the core. The core is dropping. The core is down, and Fnatic, they take it. Fnatic with a reverse sweep. The second team today to make the reverse sweep happen. They take Dignitas down with a 3-2 victory.
3-2 victory over Dignitas, and an impressive setup here for the mid-season brawl. Fnatic somehow, someway does it. In game number 3, they get a fire lit underneath them, and they don't hold back.
2 times today we saw this. 2 times we saw the number 2 going up against the number 1 in the standings. Both times the number 2 took the first 2 maps, and then the number 1 came in and took a reverse sweep. Fnatic takes the 3-2 and is in an amazing position now to be the number 1 team to go to the mid-season brawl. Only a loss against Team Synergy on the last play day can give Dignitas another opportunity to make it to make it drop the playoffs.
For both times, it's actually incredibly impressive, by the way. For Dignitas in game 1 and game number 2, it was all about the picks. Stitches coming in, the KT setup as well, and Fnatic just took that same type of playstyle and adopted it, and they in game 3, 4, and 5, every time Dignitas had 1 to 2 picks that happened there, Fnatic just ran with the battleground and kept it up. That's how high level these guys are. If you lose 1 member in your team fight, the opponent is going to run with a major advantage, and they kept up with it all the way until game number 5. And it's crazy because the advantage was half a level between 20 and 19 and a half. Yeah. That's how much of an advantage Fnatic was able to etch out. And that was a small one when you think about it.
And one of the crazy things to me is still when we think about these damage numbers that we've been talking about. We just saw a game that went all the way to level 20, and we have as the top damage dealer on the side of Fnatic Tracer with merely 28,000. We have Lunara with 26,000. That's basically nothing if you compare it to other games where there's a lot of brawling happening. So Fnatic the entire time was just identifying targets on the map. They went on one target, dropped it, and then the fight was already decided. Every time Dignitas moved away, having the discipline to not force too many engages there. And today's series was just overall fantastic. Dignitas looking so strong on the first 2 maps. They looked unbeatable.
They did look unbeatable, but Fnatic still was able to pull it out here with the 3-2, which was awesome to see. Now, if you're looking for more number 1s versus number 2s later on today, Tempo Storm and Gale Force Esports will be facing up for North America. Early this morning, if you're looking for VODs, we had L5 and MVP Black going at it. L5, again, as mentioned by Caldor, was able to earn a 3-2 victory with a reverse sweep. So today is definitely Super Sunday, and we hope you at home continue to enjoy it. We're working on getting on one of the members for an interview here for this next pick. I know I actually want to talk to them a little bit about BOE and that Muradin ban.
Yeah, I want to talk to them especially about how it feels right now to make that reverse happen. Because we've been talking about Fnatic sometimes showing nerfs, especially in offline environments, on offline events, whereas Dignitas shows up when it's really needed. This time, after falling behind 2 maps, they somehow found the strength to say, hey, we still got this. And this is something that Fnatic needed to learn for a long time, and I really just want to know what happened after the second game. who was the one who just came in and said, guys, we still got this. We can still win 3 in a row? Because it's incredibly hard from a psychological aspect as well to look at you being down 2 games, being crushed on both of them in most every team fight, and then saying, hey, we can still flip this.
Yeah, the mentality swap is something that really has to come in. You need to find someone on your team that's an anchor and that you can actually trust too. It's almost like when here's a weird example, but when I play with Dreadnought or Dunk Train, when Dreadnought says we got this, suddenly I believe him. But it's moments like that that you suddenly have to have that come out for you as a team, and it looks like we are actually ready here as Fnatic Quacknix is ready to go here. Quacknix, thank you for joining us, and before you say anything, man, congratulations on your victory against Dignitas.
Thank you so much. It means a lot, obviously. Winning this series, most likely I'm not going to take anything, for granted, but most likely this means that we will, maybe we already, no, most likely, we have already qualified for the mid-season brawl.
Yeah, you have an incredible chance here to be the #1 seed. You have one more match to face off against League next week for Synergy, but for right now, let's go ahead and keep talking about this match. Taking on Dignitas, they came out on fire in the first couple games.
Yeah, they did for sure. Obviously, like here, I feel they have an advantage on towers because it's one of their better maps. And once that Chromie pick came out, I didn't really think about it at all in draft. And once that pick came out, we were pretty much outdrafted. I think somebody mentioned it, but I didn't really, catch it. So yeah, they basically outdrafted us in that game, and I didn't respect them enough in the draft on BOE because I was too greedy to trying to get, my dream comp on BOE, and it pretty much backfired. And they got the tools basically that we wanted, and they just display that they can do it as well. Obviously, with the Stitches Keltas, it's not something we would run maybe, but they denied us what we wanted, and then we got a very passive team. However, we could have come back, as you might have remembered when we got the full shield Immortal 16 versus 16.
Well, speaking about game number 2,
yeah.
in your draft, you banned out Murden on the second phase. Is this something that we weren't expecting, or is there a strategy that we thought you guys would be going for? Is there anything that you could share to provide there with insight?
Yeah, obviously JPL is probably the best Murden in EU. I mean, he is for sure, because he's the only one that plays Murden a lot. Mm-hmm. And he's incredible on the hero, and want to deny another frontline from them since we already got the new Barthas. We just wanted to deny a strong frontliner, and Muradin would be such a great fit with the Tyrell Greymane already being picked up from them. So they have so much pressure on our backline, and if they jump in, they have the aggressive kit, and we have pretty slow damage. It's hard for us to punish them if they go aggressive.
Awesome. Well, over to Caldor.
Well, first of all, congratulations. You guys made a reverse sweep happen. We saw that already earlier today in Korea. For me, the question, you guys are known as a team that really thrives on a lot of emotions. So normally when you get ahead, you have that momentum going for you, but you lost the first 2 maps. And usually that's one of those things where it's easy to get tilted, more so at an offline event than online. But what was the atmosphere like after the 2 losses? Were you just still sitting there saying, okay, we still got this, we can make a reverse sweep happen? Did you have to calm the team down? Or explain to us a little bit how that situation unfolded for you guys in comms.
Yeah, so obviously the energy and atmosphere is dropping a bit. It's always gonna be that when you're losing. But the thing is, it's not over until it's over. So no matter what, we just have to try cheer up and go next. And as I mentioned, Inferno Towers, we kind of expect to lose maybe because it's their strongest map in my opinion. And both 2 games were just draft issues, and once we got the 3rd draft, we were really feeling confident. And obviously after just gaining that victory fairly convincing, it's a huge momentum swing. So yeah, we just needed to get a clean game to come back pretty much to swing the momentum in our favor.
Yeah, you guys did incredibly well, and then in the end you were able to also fight over the boss up at the top lane on Cursed Hollow, and that secured the win there. So coming now into the rest of the season, you're going up against Synergy. If there's no upset happening, you guys make the #1 spot happen for yourself. How much does it mean for you guys to qualify for Sweden, or how much would it mean for you to qualify for Sweden directly?
It means everything, right? It's what we're fighting for 6 hours a day. It's our goal. And it obviously means even more due to the fact that it's going to be in Sweden. And we want the revenge, and on the Koreans, we want to prove that we can also be the best. They are not overlords anymore. So yeah, we're coming for you.
Dang,
awesome.
girl. All right, last question before I let you go, Quacknix. Next week you are facing off against Synergy. Let us know your thoughts about that matchup.
As I always say, never to underestimate, but the thing is that as long as we bring a solid game and don't get outdrafted, like as long as they don't cheese us and we're careful in draft, we should, you know, take it fairly convincingly.
Awesome. Well, Quatinix, before I let you go, congratulations. But do you have any energy drinks that you want to show off floating around there?
Of course. But are you allowed to do that?
I mean, yeah, totally, man.
Oh, okay, then this one. But you know, it's the usual. It's the best one on the market. It's just that simple. I wouldn't be advertising it otherwise. And Trick, I can see your monster in the pocket there, like behind you.
Oh my gosh, is that showing?
I can see the chat hashtag sellouts already.
He saw the drink, man, hiding over there. Quatinix, congratulations for your victory today. Fnatic takes a victory over Dignitas with a 3-2. The reverse sweep was impressive, but well pulled off.
Yeah, I actually did not expect that to be happening, to be quite honest. With how much Dignitas showed up on the first few maps, he said that they felt a bit outdrafted, and they also said, okay, Towers is not really a map that we feel confident in going up against someone like Dignitas. But Dignitas had very crisp play there, so that they would lose 3 maps in a row, that's pretty impressive that someone is able to pull that off. And we saw that twice today.
Twice today. We still have more coming your way, as we'll be having Beat Genius and Trick facing off after the commercial break. We'll see you soon.